deep-rooted in idealism, similar to many of the other INFJ traits, come as both a blessing and a curse. With such a vivid imagination and creative mind, this personality type can't help but to see the world through an idealistic lens. However, despite the beauty this ability brings, there's certainly a few obstacles and challenges it pushes the INFJ to overcome. Welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. Personal development is always on their mind. You may be asking, what's the problem with continuous self-betterment? And to that, we say, it's not a problem if it's balanced correctly. For the INFJ, however, self-improvement is not a side thought, but rather the main event in their lives. For most INFJs, the thoughts and actions taken for the sake of self-improvement puts a lot of pressure on them, sometimes to the point of sabotaging their own happiness. Instead of passively improving oneself and doing the best they can to remain on the healthier and motivated side of things, the INFJ's idealistic outlook and self-observation leads them to continuously pick apart every aspect of their being. Looks, habits, money, personality, self-development, social life, spirituality, and the list goes on. INFJs can't help but to be better and do better in every sense of the matter, even if that means giving up what they enjoy. In fact, INFJs can justify pretty much anything in the name of personal development, and that can become toxic over time. Number 2. Being seen as a rebellious troublemaker. Ask any INFJ and they'll tell you, although they don't necessarily care what others think of them, they strive to come off as a kind and capable individual. They prefer not to ruffle any feathers and will sometimes even put their own preferences aside in order to avoid conflict and confrontation. Then there are times when their idealism says otherwise. Sometimes this idealistic temperament every INFJ has leads them to break certain rules and regulations. With such a vivid view of how some things should be, or how some processes should go, INFJs may justify some of their rebellious actions for the sake of their idealism. It's not exactly their way or the highway, but rather an experiment of just how accurate their envisioned outcome plays out when they go with their own idealistic route compared to the route that's in place. Luckily, due to their empathy, optimism, and deep understanding of the world, these idealisms are the byproduct of their good nature. An example of this is rooted in the INFJ's nonconformity. Known as one of the INFJ trailblazers, Martin Luther King's movement is a prime example of this nonconformist rebellion, and his speech "I Have a Dream" provides a close look into a true INFJ's idealistic view on the world. Number 3. It makes them seem like they're not in touch with reality. It's no secret that this introverted intuitive type would prefer to spend time processing their thoughts and wallowing in their imagination than socializing with their external world. And with that, they're often seen as the dreamer type, with 2 feet on the ground, but their head in the clouds. However, despite their introverted intuition and thinking playing a huge role in this dreamer persona, it's actually their idealistic perception that makes others think that maybe the INFJ isn't as grounded as they lead on to. This idealism, especially when expressed to others in an optimistic way, can make INFJs seem like they can't grasp the harsher aspects of reality. It makes them seem as if they see the world through fantasy blinders, deeming them naive and immature. It's as if that, because they truly have a probable solution to nearly all of the world's problems, that in the INFJ's world, these problems don't exist. Of course, the actuality of the matter is that these problems are not only very apparent to the INFJ, but they can be considered so apparent that they haunt the INFJ, leaving them no choice but to try their best to process a solution. Number 4. High standards make accepting what is very difficult. Holding high standards for yourself and others is known to be a sign of self-respect and confidence. Knowing your value and capabilities allows you to motivate yourself to try new things while also setting standards for who you allow into your life. For the INFJ type, these are all true, and without their idealistic standards, they wouldn't be able to achieve certain milestones and connections in their life. Yet, on the other side of things, it's this very idealistic outlook that also makes it difficult to live in the moment and simply accept things as they come. Whether it be a new potential friendship, a job position, a living circumstance, a new experience, or the results of their hard work, the INFJ brain can't help but to think of all the ways something could have been, or should be, better. Despite their non-judgmental attitude, INFJs can see the potential of people and situations, and with that, they can easily see just how those people and situations aren't living up to that potential. Not only is this extremely frustrating for the INFJ themselves, but it also places a certain amount of pressure on the people around them to live up to this vision the INFJ has for them. For the INFJ, rarely do things exceed their expectations, often leading them to have to settle for the mundanity they've created through their perception. Number 5. They get used to the feeling of being disappointed. Speaking of nothing ever really being good enough, INFJ idealism is the source of their seemingly never-ending disappointments in life. Sure, they have the optimism and creativity to envision a better way, but the reality of things is often what wins in the end. In this world, things aren't perfect, ideal, or even fair most times. And with their ability to see the potential for things to be perfect, ideal, and fair, as well as the creative route it takes to achieve that, this harsh reality can be extremely disappointing for the INFJ type. When it comes to certain friendships and relationships, it's this envisioned potential that keeps the INFJ around, hoping that one day they will witness a different version of those they hold on to. They tend to idolize those they meet, preferring to see the best in them and remain blinded to the reality of their negative habits and traits. Yet, when the truth sets in and becomes impossible to look past, disappointment after disappointment often leads the INFJ to throw in the towel. Number 6. They never celebrate their wins. As we said, the INFJ's idealism makes disappointment seem like an everyday experience. So, what happens when the INFJ actually does achieve something they've worked so hard for? Well, with such perfectionism at hand, reaching those milestones, achievements and wins in life that people normally pride themselves on just don't do the same for the INFJ. Even if the INFJ doesn't scrutinize how they could have done better, or analyze where they went wrong despite coming out on top, it doesn't take long for the INFJ to begin ruminating about the next steps. They don't take the time to stop to celebrate their hard-earned accomplishments, and even external validation only goes so far. Their idealism makes it seem as if these achievements are simply the bare minimum results of their capabilities, like an obvious outcome to all their hard work. They're not surprised when they achieve things due to their past idealistic visions, and so they don't spend much time thinking about it. And lastly, number 7, finding a fitting career is nearly impossible. Through the idealistic eyes of the INFJ, finding an appropriate career path is one of the most challenging journeys. As we said, INFJs tend to settle for things in life as a result of their understanding that there's a big contrast to their idealistic hopes and the reality of the world. One difficult example of this is finding a path in life that both suits and sustains them. Marching to the beat of their own drum, it's not uncommon for the INFJ to step outside of the societal norm when it comes to career paths, in order to build something of their own. They have dreams and creative visions that are rooted in their idealistic nature. Dreams of a career that helps others and solves the world's problems, while also providing them the adventurous and balanced life they long for. Some INFJs chase these dreams and the results are everything they ever hoped for. Others achieve them, only to find that it's not as ideal as they envisioned, and most tend to settle for that job that goes against every idealistic view they have because life simply got the best of them. Of course, it's never too late to follow any sort of idealistic dream, as long as there's a touch of logic and realism to back it up. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, what would you say is your biggest struggle when it comes to being an idealistic INFJ? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.